Now is the time that you've all been waiting for. Now is the time that the entire world has been waiting for. It's the world premiere of Guns N' Roses' November Rain video, or November Rain film, if you will. A little bit about the song November Rain. November Rain is actually one of the oldest Guns N' Roses songs. I mean, it was done even before Appetite for Destruction was put out. And back in the old days, it used to be like 15 minutes long. I remember anytime you would get Axl by a piano, he would play November Rain. And I think that song and actually Estranged are probably two of the most beautiful rock and roll songs maybe of all time. And I think 20 years down the line, we'll still be hearing November Rain on the radio. It's a brilliant song. Now about the video. The video was recorded in surround sound, so if you happen to be extremely wealthy, you may have surround sound at your house, or even if you've got a good stereo system, turn it up because it's going to sound amazing. Visually, the video is completely amazing. It was done on film. And I don't want to spoil too much about it, so I'll talk to you a little bit after the video. I do want to tell you that the girl in it is supermodel Stephanie Seymour. And watch the video, especially real closely at the people sitting at the wedding table. Here it is, the world premiere of a very amazing video. Here's Guns N' Roses' November Rain.
Thanksgiving is the best holiday. There's no I don't know. There's nothing you don't have to give gifts. You don't have to dress up really. You don't have to be of a specific religious denomination or whatever. You can just be, I guess you have to be American or whatever. But you just hang out with your fam and kick it. And it's weird that there's spooky Halloween songs and super festive holiday music. But there's never Thanksgiving, a dedicated Thanksgiving song. And there should be, but it shouldn't be November Rain.
And with that, Audio Wasteland presents simply November Rain. I'm your host, Will Slary, and if you know anything about me, it's that I have, since the release of this infernal song, used it as a therapeutic canvas my entire life. Whether it was about a failed 6th grade dance, where a slow dance ended in a disaster, not unlike Stephanie Seymour and Axl Rose, or all my other relationships that spread out throughout the time. I've been using this song over and over and over in this vicious cycle as an emotional journal of all my trials and tribulations. But it may be in attempts to break this vicious cycle and to be a better human, I wanted to know what this song meant to everyone else. If they had the same kind of love-hate relationship and unrequited love that I do with November Rain. So I reached out to a bunch of really wonderful friends and people. I stole crazy YouTube rants from the internet, and I even talked to Kirk Loder from MTV News. And we put together this here today. A stream of consciousness to end out one of the coldest, most bitter months of the year, where fall says goodbye and we settle into winter and feel ourselves die just a little bit more. So sit back and enjoy an hour of November Rain on the only station this could ever happen on, 95.7 WROELP FM, Radio Free Roanoke.
It was September 91 and I was 14 and the biggest GNR fan.
So Guns N' Roses is by far my all-time favorite band. I have been in love with Axl Rose since I was about 8 years old.
Got both discs when they were released and listened to them incessantly. Only skipping over the 3 longest songs, Estranged, Coma, and November Rain, because I was 14 and fuck long songs.
I remember being at my abuela's house over the summers and watching MTV there because we didn't have cable growing up.
It wasn't until November Rain started to get heavy radio and TV play that I started to kind of appreciate it, but mostly just the end part that ripped according to my young, innocent self.
And I would watch Guns N' Roses videos along with other hair metal videos and then quickly switch to VH1 when my grandmother or mom would enter the room because they didn't want us watching that kind of stuff.
The thing about November Rain, my number one memory of November Rain is being at Will's I think you were turning 30, so that was 15 years ago.
A few years back, I heard the first of many versions of November Rain sung by young Mr. William Solari, where he threw in life lessons and musings over the instrumentals. That opened back up the possibilities that November Rain hid.
Or something. It was your birthday, and there was a karaoke, and I was I don't fucking do karaoke. But then we started doing November Rain as a tandem act or something, and it turns out I'm fucking awesome at karaoke. I just I don't like to do it. We were doing microphone trade-offs.
Now at 41, those 3 longer songs off Use Your Illusion are the ones I gravitate towards. In general, Typo Negative's October Rest got more play for me in my 20s though. And I don't know who the Decemberists are, but I probably don't like them.
I'm Kurt Loder with MTV News. Guns N' Roses singer Axl Rose was arrested at New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport on Sunday morning as he disembarked with his girlfriend, model Stephanie Seymour, and her 2-year-old son from a Concorde flight from Europe, where the couple had been vacationing prior to the start of a Guns N' Roses tour with Metallica, which is scheduled to get underway this coming Friday in Washington, D.C. A warrant for Rose's arrest had been issued several months earlier by a prosecutor in St. Louis, who had been trying for months to get Rose to return to that city to face misdemeanor assault and property damage charges stemming from a riot that erupted at a Guns concert there 1 year ago. Rose was jailed in New York for 10 hours, then released on $100,000 bail, following which he hopped into a limousine headed for a Manhattan hotel. And we hopped in with him.
Guns had been together for a while. Axl had this piano music that he'd been working on, and it was this, I think it was over 10-minute epic on piano. And at one point we went into Sound City and started doing some demos for Appetite with Manny Charleston from Nazareth. He was going to produce it. Oh, yeah. And so we did all the songs that we had up to that point, and then Axl started playing November Rain. And I remember the way the song spoke to me, the guitar parts just came natural, and we did a rough version of that song, albeit 20 minutes long, but a rough version of that song, and then didn't come back around to doing it on record until we did the Use Your Illusions record some 4 years later or something like that.
November Rain was a pretty memorable song. A couple things I really didn't know until I started reading about it. Axl had actually had that song written since 1983, which is kind of crazy, and so he had most of it hammered out around then. He arranged all these string parts, which I thought was pretty impressive. But just the scale of that composition, it was just so epic, it was so long. I mean, it was definitely the first Guns N' Roses song I ever heard with an orchestra, if not the first song with a rock band and an orchestra. but I think it clocks in at something at like 9 minutes and 12 seconds or something like that. And there's so many different arcs. Like when it goes to that first bridge, when I guess in the video it's when Slash is doing the solo outside of the church. It's not just like a little bridge that happens in most songs. It's like this epic portal that, you know, they just explore all this stuff for a while. The thing that strikes me most listening to it as an adult is like the huge influence that Queen must have had on Axl Rose, because a lot of the elements of this song like definitely remind me of a Queen tune. You know, some of the like the lines and stuff that are happening, and some of the other instruments, and just, you know, some of the musical movements.
property has everything a rock and roller could ever want.
Axl Rose has to move.
A bar, a barbecue, and a pool within throwing distance.
To a quieter place where he can collect his thoughts.
The bed's never been slept in. I'm not saying it hasn't been used, it just hasn't been slept in.
Away from the noise of angry neighbors.
This wall's only been smashed once. Some guy's head, but it's been repaired. It's like new now.
Evict Axl Rose. Take possession of his condo, his furniture, his stereo, and his aura.
If these mirrors could talk.
And after you move in, Axl will throw you a housewarming party. So send a postcard to MTV's Evict Axl contest or pick up the phone and call. And someday soon, all this could be yours.
You can have the pad. I'm keeping my aura.
When I look into your eyes, I can see love restrained.
But darling, when I hold you, don't you know I feel the same? Nothing lasts forever, and we both know hearts can change. And it's hard to hold a candle in the cold November rain.
We've been through this such a long time, just trying to kill the pain. Love was always coming, love was always going. No one really knows who's letting go today.
Walking away. If we could take the time to lay it on the line, I could rest my head just knowing you were mine. All mine. So if you wanna love me, darling, don't refrain. Or I'll just end up walking in the cold November rain.
Do you need some time on your own?
Do you need some time all alone?
Ooh, everybody needs some time on their own.
Don't you know you need some time all alone? I know it's hard to keep an open heart when even friends seem out to harm you. But if you could heal a broken heart, wouldn't time be out to charm you? 'Cause nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. Don't you think that you need someone? Every day I need somebody. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. Don't you think that you need somebody? Don't you think that you need someone? Don't you think that you need somebody? You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
This MTV contest brought to you by British Knights Athletic Footwear and Carefree Sugarless Gum.
In high school, I went to a bonfire party out in the woods. And there was this guy in our school, a little guy, who had really big hair, and he dressed like Axl Rose. I think he really wanted to be like him. Well, he was at the party, and a bit into the night, a spark from the fire landed in his hair, and well, it went up in flames instantly. It was pretty funny. Luckily, he wasn't injured in any way, but from that November day, he was no longer Axl Rose, but Mike the Bald Guy. And it was just too bad that it wasn't raining that day. Otherwise, he'd still have hair.
Hey guys, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. Today I decided to take on another Guns N' Roses piece. This time it's November Rain. Obviously the vocalist is Axl Rose. Now, I'm not going to sing it just like Axl. I'm going to sing it like Ken Tamplin in the style or spirit of Axl, with what I believe fits well within Guns N' Roses. And you can represent their art with your own unique voice. You don't have to mimic them exactly, but you could do something in the spirit of the band. And you can also change it melodically. Don't feel like you have to, do everything on the dotted line. You can bring some of your own personality into it. So we'll do it first. We'll talk about it after like we always do. November Rain. Here we go.
When I look into your eyes, I can see love restrained. But darling, when I hold you, don't you know I feel the same? Oh yeah. 'Cause nothing lasts forever, and we both know hearts can change. Right, it's hard to hold a candle in the cold November rain. We've been through this long, long time, just try to kill the pain. Oh yeah. Love is always going, love is always going. No, I really gotta let it go today. Walking away. We could do the time to let it on the line and grace my head. Don't know that you are mine. Oh, mine. If you wanna love me, then darling, don't refrain. You'll just end up walking in the cold November rain. Do you indeed sometimes on your own? Do you need some time? Run and run. Everybody needs some time. Run the road. Don't you know you need some time? Run and run. Run without a keep it open heart. When even friends him out to harm you. But if you could heal a broken heart, wouldn't time be out to join you? Oh, yeah.
Okay, there's a lot going on here, man. So, like I said, now Axl is kind of like always on 10, right? And he grinds into his stuff. So, and he's got a real buzzsaw kind of piercing sort of tone, which is what we've come to know and love about Axl. What I chose to do, because some of my favorite singers are more, Glenn Hughes, David Coverdale, Paul Rogers, Lou Gramm. So, and I could get a little bit of a percentage of that distortion when I want it, and I could turn up the volume. I didn't go, when I look into your eyes, I can see your love restraint. I'm not killing it to get to the sound. Now, in fairness, as I go up top and I sing higher notes, we've been through this such a long, long time. Through that whole part, I bring a lot of mask, and so does Axl. I shed the weight, I thin out the bottom, and I bring that nice bright timbre.
Sometimes I need some time on my own. Sometimes I need some time. Everybody needs some time on their own. Ooh, don't you know you need some time?
Sound into the front of my face, and you can see me smiling as I go up into some of this stuff. Now, I actually like a little more girth in the sound than what Axl does himself, so I like to kind of like Ronnie James Dio, bring it up top just a little bit, but I have to thin the sound down, especially when I go, yeah! Like all those parts, there's no way I can bring, all that stuff from the bottom up top like that. So anyway, two more things too.
Weary face of sight, and shadows still remain. Oh yeah, I know that you can love me when there's no one left to blame. So never mind the darkness, we still can find a way. 'Cause nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. Rock, never die. Those who celebrate birthday this November, you two men, brother and sister, and those motherfuckers and bloodsucker die soon. Kill them all. Right. Peace.
At the very end, if you notice, I took it up a notch and I changed the melody. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me. We got more coming your way, and until next time, peace out.
So I was thinking about a Guns N' Roses tune earlier. Yeah, I used to listen to Guns N' Roses tunes, and you know, for rock music, they definitely are one of the best bands. And sort of maybe younger people, I think, oh, what are you talking about, Guns N' Roses? But now you have to realise they were cool. Like they were, like, you know, the military mind war. They're designed to be cool, but. You know, I kind of stopped listening to them when I got into kind of what I considered more underground music, especially when I got into dance music, but kind of listened to them a bit then when I got older a bit again. And I even listened to Axl Rose's album. Well, it was under the title Guns N' Roses, but it was just him and the piano player. That was about 7 years ago that came out. Yeah, I can remember thinking, yeah, you know, I can remember noticing these things when I was young, you know, definitely, especially about the women, but definitely about some of the guys as well. Like, I can remember an actual incident where someone mentioned it, like when we were in school, you know, about how feminine one of these characters looked like in a guitar magazine. Right, so Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses fame. You know, and potentially anyone else in the band, and you know, I'm just saying, Axl Rose, it's all TransStyle, the entertainment industry, it's all transvestites. But that's what it is, it's TransStyle. Well, like I say, I don't care, but you know, I realise that I'm obviously doing this for, you know, I always say I'm doing it just to document my thoughts, but I do hope that people can see how negative the system is, the transvestite, satanic kind of religious promotion. Satanic religion, just like any religion, is mind control, degradation. You know, it's a weird system, like in the modern era of pop music, but it ain't just the pop music. It don't matter what direction you look, how alternative you're being. Yeah, there's definitely Seymour anyway, trans man. Just instantly you can see that anyway. Yeah, bikini photo shoot at the beach. You know, there's a reason why the waves are there in that photo, I guess. You'd say, you know, the photo editors do their best to disguise what they need to that looks too extremely out of proportion on this trans man. So Axl Rose was engaged to this trans man, so, you know, I reckon that Axl Rose is a transvestite anyway, but left to him transvestite, and then it's satanic mind control. How else would it be, you know? Anyway, cheers.
listening to 95.7 WROE-LP FM, right in the middle of November Rain.
En 1991 comenzó a salir con el volátil vocalista de Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose.
I've had a lot of fun and done a lot of crazy things, but, you know, she fascinates me.
Stephanie has made one of the most ultimate rock star girlfriends.
Stephanie Seymour and Axl Rose were probably one of the most passionate, physical, intense couples we've seen.
Después de 2 años y un tatuaje, Stephanie aceptó la propuesta de matrimonio de Axl.
Yes.
Aunque se casaron en el video de November Rain, nunca llegaron al altar. Y su rompimiento fue accidentado.
It was hot and heavy, but it was a dangerous relationship.
She doesn't seem to have brought him nearer to mental health. She was the match to the gasoline of his insanity.
I remember being at my abuela's house over the summers and watching MTV there because we didn't have cable growing up. And I would watch Guns N' Roses videos along with other hair metal videos and then quickly switch to VH1 when my grandmother or mom would enter the room because they didn't want us watching that kind of stuff.
Because you would always be over at other people's houses discovering music through MTV and watching all these videos, and November Rain really sucked you in. Even if you didn't like the song, it was really hard to tear yourself away from the video.
I'm not an avid Guns N' Roses fan, but grew up listening to their music and watching their videos, and this is definitely one of the videos that played way too long on MTV for my liking.
I just remember seeing that video and being like, good God, is this still going? It's the longest thing I've ever seen in my life.
What do you think the budget for November Rain video was? Like, I'd just like to go up to the director and say, what's your budget?
You know, they're taking shots with helicopters and, you know.
Did you know the video for November Rain is supposed to be inspired by a short story from a collection of short stories written by Guns N' Roses road manager Del James, and the collection is called The Language of Fear.
I do know his abilities are extremely limited, though.
Like, what do you think, knowing what you know about the video, what do you think the fucking story's about?
And I remember in the November Rain video, Stephanie Seymour's dress, and thought it was the best thing ever, and trying to figure out the whole storyline.
And then, of course, the part in the video where she dies at the end, and, it's got the epic kind of, moody, dark outro with that epic guitar melody is pretty insane.
So the real question is, how did the woman die in November Rain?
When we were kids, we used to get in arguments about who killed Axl Rose's wife in the November Rain video. Most people said she committed suicide or something like that.
And she's in a coffin with half of her body is missing, obviously, because there's a mirror in the coffin. But what happened to her is the question.
Axl's dressed like a pirate. He looks like he's in, Interview with a Vampire or something, like on his wedding day.
And you see Axl walk in front of a gun store during one of the scenes. So I kind of used to think that he shot her with a shotgun maybe, and he's taking these pills and he's crazy or something.
I had my money on Slash.
And I think maybe Stephanie Seymour was actually in love with Slash.
He leaves in the middle of the wedding ceremony, goes outside and sullenly plays this ripping solo in front of the church as he's walking off.
I believe Slash only knows one chord progression and one key that he plays every single Guns N' Roses song in.
And Slash apparently nailed that guitar solo in the first take, which makes me think it's kind of the first solo. I guess in the video it's when he's outside at the church and doing all that stuff, because the part at the end sounds more like a melody that they had written.
I do know his abilities are extremely limited, though.
You don't see him again until the actual after party when Axl and his wife are heading to the party. She looks all sullen and they're all there, and maybe because of some unrequited love or something like that, Slash decides, this can't go on. He pulls out an axe and starts running after people, because when it starts raining, everybody's freaking out, but not freaking out like it's raining, freaking out like there's somebody running around wielding an axe. They destroy this really expensive cake. There's people diving over top of each other. It looks like bedlam.
Another theory is that she was struck by lightning at the wedding, and we all know lightning doesn't strike you in half, it would burn you up.
I have a feeling that, even at the funeral, I don't think Slash is there, probably because he's in the clink for axe murdering an entire wall of kids at a wedding reception.
Also, probably my favorite part of this whole video is that Slash is smoking in absolutely every shot, with the exception of the church scenes.
So this is one of the main questions I have about this video.
And now, living in LA, when I drive through Topanga Canyon or Malibu Canyon, I always think of the car going off the side of the canyon in that video when I'm driving.
The November Rain video. That one is way too deep for me, I think.
And it is forever singed into my memory.
But yeah, it makes me kind of miss the 90s, because I think it was kind of a magical time for this stuff.
Do you like Stephanie Seymour?
Stephanie Seymour? I don't even know Stephanie Seymour.
She was banging on a video.
Well, she's Axl's girlfriend at the time. I don't really like her or dislike her. She's useless. I don't care. I don't care about her.
November Rain is a song about not wanting to be in a state of having to deal with unrequited love.
And, oh yeah, this has nothing to do with Michael Jackson. Thank you. See you.
When I look into your eyes, I can see your love restrained. But darling, when I hold you, don't you know I feel the same? Yeah. Nothing lasts forever, and we both know hearts can change. And it's hard to hold a candle in the cold November rain. And for this such a long, long time, just trying to kill the pain. Lovers always come and lovers always go, and no one's really sure who's letting it go today. Walk it away. We could take the time to lay it on the line. I can rest my head, just knowing that you were mine, all mine. So if you want to love me, then darling, don't refrain. So I just end up walking in the cold November rain. Do you need some time on your own? Do you need some time all alone? Everybody needs some time on their own. Don't you know you need some time all alone? I know it's hard to keep an open heart. Open heart. When your friends sing out to harm you. Well, if you believe a broken heart, wouldn't time be out to charm you? To charm you. Sometimes I need some time on my own. Sometimes I need some time all alone. Everybody needs some time on their own. Don't you know you need some time all alone? Sometimes all alone.
So I understand why there are so many questions and theories about November Rain. There's no doubt that the song is really sad and that the video is pretty dark. But what I find, I think, confusing and even more conflicting is that every time I hear November Rain, I am consumed with nostalgia and this undeniable desire to slow dance. I blame all the 90s high school dances and of course teenage hormones for this and for tricking my poor adolescent heart into believing that November Rain is actually a romantic love song.
When I look into your eyes, I can see a love restrained. But darling, when I hold you, I feel the same. We've been through this such a long, long time, trying to kill the pain. But nothing lasts forever, and we both know that hearts can change. Lovers always come, lovers always go. No one's really sure who's making tracks today, walking away. If we could take the time to lay it on the line, I would rest my head just to knowing that you are mine, oh mine. Do you need some time on your own? Everybody needs some time on their own. Now I just need some time all alone. Everybody needs some time on their own. I know it's hard to heal a broken heart when even your friends seem out to harm you. But if you could heal a broken heart, wouldn't time be out to charm you?
Axl, if you're out there listening, why does anything mean anything? Why do we strive for love? Why do we look for things in the darkest places and expect to find anything different? Maybe we'll never know. Maybe we'll all just end up walking in the November rain forever. Is that so bad? I want to send a heartfelt thank you to everyone who called in. Bo, Caleb, Emily, Jessica Wells, Tori, JP, Johnny, Carter, Cameron, and Eric. And that clearly crazy man from YouTube who, God bless him, can't differentiate Satanism with sexuality. If you like what you hear, please head over to Radio Free Roanoke and hit that donate button to keep music flowing free, fun, and fantastic throughout the Roanoke Valley. I've been your host, Will Solari, And this has been the promise of the 90s. Everything we hoped for and knew would never exist. Thank you, Axl, Slash, Izzy, and Stephanie, and whoever that drummer was. Good night.